book review on video. This time, QuixotiQ by Ali Al-Saeed. First, a word of explanation as to why I read this book. I have like a lifetime challenge that I want to read one book from every country on the planet. On bookcrossing.com, you'll find a lot of members, or quite a few members at least, doing that, calling it the Olympic Challenge. So some did it leading up to the Beijing Olympics, and some are doing it now leading up to the London Olympics. I'm not that crazy. I have it as a lifetime challenge for myself. And I'm trying this year to read one book from a new country every month. And for January, this is my book, QuixotiQ. It is from Bahrain. The author is from Bahrain. And this book actually won the Book of the Year award in Bahrain. The year it was published, which I think was 2004. Yeah, it was the Book of the Year. And I have to say that that really is a fantastic example of how utterly retarded the Muslim world is when it comes to pretty much everything, but in this case, culture, the creation of art, literature in this case. This book, this is a self-published book. It wasn't even written in whatever language they speak in Bahrain. It was written in English. And this wins Book of the Year. Seriously, if you read this book, which I would strongly advise you to not do under any circumstance, and your mind will boggle at the fact that this could be Book of the Year on any planet. I mean, and here on Earth, it is astonishing. This book is the biggest piece of shit that I can remember ever reading in my entire life. I seriously cannot remember having had the misfortune to read anything worse than this in my entire life. And I read like 150 books a year, so that's actually really saying something. I cannot say one single nice thing about this book. The language is incredibly bad. Like I said, it's written in English, although he is Bahrainese or whatever, Bahrainian. And he apparently is married or whatever to a woman who is either American or English, I don't know, but from an English-speaking country. As he dedicates this book to the woman he loves and cherishes, Karen Warner, blah blah, and he says, "If it weren't for your brilliant editing skills, Karen, this book wouldn't have been half as good as it is." And I have to say that I would pay so much money to not have to know what this book was like before she edited it, because it is edited so badly that a blind monkey could have done a better job. She must be wildly in love with this guy, because seriously, this is, I mean, a kid in kindergarten in China who never heard a word of English could have done a better job. This book, I am astonished to hear that it has been edited at all. The language is so bad. He obviously isn't very good at English, and his beloved editor hasn't really helped him with that. There are mistakes upon mistakes upon mistakes, orthographical mistakes, grammatical mistakes. Just the tenses of verbs are a complete mess. They're all over the place. The verb tenses change in not only the middle of or over the course of a paragraph, but in the course of a sentence. Why not? And the characters are completely implausible. Their motivations, non-existent. They don't make sense. I want to say they're one-dimensional, but they're not even that. They have several dimensions. They just aren't connected. It's just one big mess. The setting, he hasn't thought the setting through at all. I don't even know how big it is. This town, is it a big city? Is it a small town? He hasn't thought anything through to its conclusions. He's just throwing out a lot of words. I'm sure he just wrote this and was done and didn't do any rewrites at all, because he hasn't thought anything through. Not the characters, not the plot, not anything. I'll read to you a short passage here. Just one paragraph saying, let's see. To save time, Christina took a cab. Cabs are rare to find here simply because people don't need them. Most places are just a walking distance in town. Besides, almost everybody has a car here. For a small, compact town, OK is considered one of the most congested areas around. Most places are within walking distance, but even so, almost everyone has the car. I mean, try to think a little bit about what you're writing. Try to make it even, just pretend to make sense. The plot is completely stupid. None of the characters, I mean, the plot is just literally thrown together. It doesn't make sense. Towards the end, the characters, one of them, he remembers something that is incredibly helpful, and that is completely bizarre that he hasn't remembered earlier. So you're left thinking that he didn't think the plot through at all before he started. What's more, it's a very boring story. It doesn't interest. The characters aren't believable for a second, so that whatever happens, you think, just let it slide, I don't care. I can't think of anything nice to say about this book. I can't think of anything bad enough to say. This is just, seriously, an enormous steaming turd. Fortunately, it's not that enormous. It's only 180 pages, and I read every last one. For any fans of this book, if there are such people complaining that I should have finished it, I did. I always finish a book when I started it, unless I leave it behind on the bus, but that's only happened once. I read every single word of this book, and what can I say? It is the biggest piece of shit that it's ever been my misfortune to come across. I cannot say one single thing about it that's nice. The language sucks, the plot is stupid, the plot doesn't make sense, the setting is contrived and not thought through at all. The characters aren't convincing at all, completely implausible. It's just... One good reason to read this book would be for an aspiring writer to really understand why you have to do rewrites. You can't just write the story and be done. You have to rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it, and you have to think through, why do the characters do what they do? What is actually the setting? What's going to happen in the plot? You actually need to figure that out before you write it all down. If you don't do those things, you're going to end up with an abysmal piece of shit like this. This was a book crossing book. I know it has had several readers before me. I can only say I feel your pain. I know that none of you liked it either. You can see it on my book crossing shelf if you want. I'm Alicia Cabden on bookcrossing.com as well. This was a complete and utter waste of my time. At least now I can say that I've read a book from Bahrain. I will never do so again, because this was their book of the year. So, readers in Bahrain must be unbelievable idiots with no taste, because this book really is quite possibly the worst book ever written. Or at least, the worst book ever published, like I said, self-published by this author. If that doesn't already right there tell you all you need to know, then I don't think I can help you. QuixotiQ by Ali Al Saeed. Do not read.